Hey there, I am Michelle Stuchel. I'm an area representative with Classical Conversations in Southeast Georgia. And I wanted to talk to you all a little bit about community. CC, as you well know, is three things. We are Christian. Our whole mission is to know God and make Him known. We are classical. We use classical education to teach our kids how to think. And we are community. We have local communities all over the country and in other parts of the world, thanks to the military and missionaries. But I really wanted to touch on what community is as we're all getting ready to start, and some of us have already started. Before He died, Jesus, knowing He was going to the cross, knowing He had limited time with His disciples, knowing that they would listen to Him and that these words would be recorded for us in John 14, 15, 16, and 17, gave us really important information, to say the least. And what did He say? One of the things that He said was, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends." And down in verse 17 of chapter 15, "These things I command you, that you love one another." This is the definition of community: loving one another, being there to be the hands and feet of Jesus for each other. When someone is sick, to help them. When someone is distraught, to pray for them. To not only look at the interests of ourselves, like it says in Philippians 2, but to the interests of others. I can't tell you how many times the women in my community have ministered to me, encouraged me, been there for me, and my children when I was discouraged or needed help or needed physical help. Where else can you go? In January, my father was in the hospital at CC Day. I found out I had to go to Florida immediately. I ran up to two women that had never taken care of my children before, but I knew them and I knew that we had like-minded hearts. I handed them my kids' lunch and I said, "My husband's on his way. Please make sure my children are okay." And they did. And that is such a blessing, to be able to love each other, to serve each other, to not just think about ourselves, but as Jesus did, He served. Greatness is in serving and preferring one another over ourselves. But community, you know what it's like when a lot of people get together. There can be some sparks, right? Iron sharpens iron. But let's use the model of Jesus. If there's an issue, go and talk to people. Matthew 18. This is not just Christianity 101. This is 201, maybe 301, but we all want to grow up. We all want to follow the example of Jesus. If there's an issue and sparks may fly, go talk to them in the model that Jesus gave us in love. And lastly, the thing I really want to emphasize in community is, let's use the power that God has given us in our tongues for good. What if 10-foot Jesus showed up to you and said, "I'm going to give you the power of life and death"? Do you want to know what it is? Well, guess what? He did that in Proverbs. Some of my favorite verses. Proverbs 18, verses 20 and 21. A man's stomach shall be satisfied from the fruit of his mouth. From the produce of his lips he shall be filled. Here it is. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Ladies, gentlemen, kids, that little member steers the whole ship. Let's use our tongues and speak life. Can you hear Toby Mac singing in the background? Let's speak life. Let's be encouraging. As Philippians 4 says, rejoice always, be thankful. Speak life. Don't speak death. The Bible tells us we're either speaking life or death. There's not a whole lot of room of in between. You're either building up or tearing down. I'm preaching to myself, trust me. But let's use our mouths and the words of our lips to edify, to encourage, to bring praise, and to be encouraging. I guess I do have one more thing. I'm sorry. Pray for your leadership. Be thankful for your leadership. Your directors, your tutors, These people have given their lives, their hearts, and they have sacrificed for your family and for my family. Trust me, I know. They've done more than you can possibly imagine. They have prayed. They have given their time. They are not in this for the money. They're in this because they love families, they love classical education, and they love CC, and they want to be a blessing. Let's enjoy a great year. Let's encourage each other. Let's build each other up. Let's truly want to love one another, that the world may know that we are his disciples. That's what Jesus said. The world will know that we are his disciples by the love we have for one another. Praying for you all, praying for your leaders. May this be an outstanding year where we become more like Jesus and we use our tongues to bring life, not only to our own children and families, but to our communities as well.